Dag, guys, or Sul, whichever one you prefer. I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind for a little while now, which that is the whole Simmer stands versus Simmer's haters. I noticed this has been becoming quite a bit of a hot topic lately, especially on websites like Twitter. My gosh, the Twitter drama between stands and I say haters, is getting pretty insane. I see people just saying disgusting things about each other just because one hates The Sims 4 and the other loves The Sims 4. And I feel like the whole reason why this is happening is because both sides are failing to look at it from each other's perspectives. Both sides kind of feel like it's an attack on each other. Of course, if you really love The Sims 4, you're gonna get upset when you see people hate on it. Just how if you really hate The Sims 4 and you think that it's a product that is scamming people, you might get annoyed at people who love it and are seemingly being scammed. Which, I think that if people were to look into each other's perspectives on this issue, they'd understand each side more. The people who think the others are haters are just doing it for, I guess, to build a brand or something, to just complain and have no reason. They just love hating. But you gotta understand that the whole hating is coming from a thing of passion, which shows the love. And I feel like that's what a lot of simmers are failing to understand, is that both of these sides are coming from love, passion for the game. First I'm gonna talk about the stands, or the lovers, whatever you want to call them. There is a reason why the Sims 4's people love The Sims 4 so much, even though it seems a bit bare bones to others, that the game seems lackluster or something. And you gotta understand that this game is 10 years. Well, it's hard to do it while still holding my mic, but it's 10 years old now, and that means a lot of people who played The Sims 4 grew up with it now. They probably could have played it when they were 10, and now they're 20. So it's probably a game that's an introduction to the series for many, many people. And people who haven't grown up with it are they're attached to it now. It's nostalgic and stuff. And not only that, but Sims 4 does actually have some pretty good stuff in it. It has a good build by. Its cast is, well, I can argue it's not the best cast, but I can understand why many people prefer it, why people prefer the cartoony style over the styles of 2 and 3. And some of the style of the clothing, So when you really put it in that perspective, you can understand why there are a lot of people super defensive about this game. This game is very important to them for many of those reasons. And plus, a lot of Sims 4 players just never really got a chance to play the other games. It is extremely hard depending on how much you know about computers and games. A lot of players find it challenging to get both The Sims 2 or The Sims during working on their computer. Sims 4, while might be buggy, it is more accessible, which, that's something I want to say. When your only experience is The Sims 4, then it is a really good game. I didn't play The Sims 4 until 2020, because I've always been critical of the game when, again, I mentioned this in my Pets playthrough, but if you were there when I was 16 when the game was first announced, and I was excited for it, but it released very bare bones. There were no toddlers at all, and that's just weird. And plus, along with all kinds of other bare bones stuff about it, that just made it very questionable. So, I just stuck to Sims 3. Until 2020, when I looked into the game further and noticed that it had packs that I found interesting. And playing it, I have played like over 1,000 hours of the game, and like playing it, I can understand why people love it a lot. In my opinion, it is a very fun simulator. I just think that compared to 2 and 3, that it is not as good as all. And I think that EA is handling some stuff very poorly, like they're taking care of the bugs and I'm giving the consumers what they want, which I guess would be bug fixes and less DLC, or I guess like not just less DLC, but like more DLC that has more to offer, instead of just doing kits and stuff. So like that brings me to the point of the haters, which I don't really want to call them haters. I'd rather call them critics, because I feel like a lot of their points are indeed valid. Like, you gotta also understand that when someone criticizes something you love, it's not a personal attack on you. And like, these players are also very passionate about the game too. Like, their critique is not coming from a place of hatred. It's coming from a place of seeing something they love and then it being turned into something that they deem inferior or lackluster or being overtaken by cash grabs and cows and whatever. A lot of the critics think that the game has lost its soul and EA is more focused on profit, which I can't blame them. When the game has Sims 3 was already so showing signs of this happening, but it just went further with Sims 4 with all these DLC packs. I mean, they're on to over 80 DLCs. Lots of them come out buggy or even straight up breaks the game. Like, they're having more emergency patches with every new release, and with EA just doing stuff that all these microtransaction stuff, like for example, not just all these kits, but obviously Project When-A is gonna be is already showing tall signs of gonna be filled with DLC stuff that you'll have to buy, microtransactions. It's easy for people to feel like EA sees Sims 4 as more of a profit project rather than passion project, which yes, major corporations do tend to do that with the products they're selling, but like it's still possible for a product to be made with passion and not just for sale profits, which I'm not saying Sims 4 it has no passion in it. I'm just saying that a lot of the decisions that EA makes, it makes people feel like there's no passion in it. Like, people who complain, all they want is just for it to be better. That's literally just what they want. And I notice a lot of stans will try, or lovers, stans kind of, just like haters, stans kind of feels, I don't want to use the word derogatory, but it sounds kind of like an insult, which I don't want to insult either, because I understand both sides. A lot of the lovers try to say that, complaining will do nothing, you're just bringing down moods, you're just bringing down the fun, the EA will never listen. But there has been plenty of examples of corporations listening to complaints if they're loud enough, or more so if the more people that are complaining, the more likely they are to listen. Like, I got 2 examples. For one thing, there is the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Remember when they dropped that first trailer and Sonic looked awful? But guess what? Fans complained and they changed how he looked. Like, it worked. The complaints worked. And Tekken, which is another game series I like to play. You probably can't see it because my webcam isn't the best, but I have a whole Tekken collection right over there on that white shelf. But anyways, they tried to sell a stage separately for $5. And this made a lot of people mad because, to put it real quick, people got a special edition that was a season pass that gave them like all the DLC characters, and it was like $40. I think it was. It was either 30 or 40, which is a lot of money. So naturally, people expect to get the DLC stages as well for that kind of money. But Tekken tried to sell the DLC pack, the DLC stages separately as well. And this didn't go well with the players. So what did the players do? They started review bombing, and they started putting a lot of critical posts on social media, which even some Tekken Pro players try to criticize this by telling people to not review bomb something. That's going to hurt the game. But guess what? The Tekken devs gave all the players 500 coins, which is enough for the stage. They gave it to them for free, 500 coins, and they promised that every DLC stage will be included in the season pass. So see, that worked. So complaining does work. Review bombing does work, and Sims players just need to understand that. That's why these people complain, because they know it's possible that EA will change if they think their consumer base is unhappy and not going to play their games anymore. If the consumers are review bombing into calling the game horrible and keeping people away from the game. Which I understand that some players are very happy with the game the way it is, and they don't want that. They don't want a possibility that people will stop playing the game and they'll lose their Sims 4, which I can understand the fear of that, but at the same time, it's like people should be allowed to voice their own opinions, They should be allowed to try to better the game in their own ways. Like, how you love the game isn't how someone else loves it. And that being said, I am not gonna just act like the critics are good either. Like, it is very unnecessary for the critics to go to someone who says, oh my gosh, I love The Sims 4 so much, and say, actually, no, it's a bad game, and you should feel bad for saying it's a good game. Like, no, that's not okay either. The thing is, nobody owns the internet, and everyone should be free to express their opinion on the internet, especially about a video game. No one should try to silence the other person or say, oh, you shouldn't say this is bad. Like, no. Everyone has the right to say if they love something, and everyone has the right to say if they hate something. Because in the end, we are all Sims fans anyways. Like, we all love the game, and we all love it in different ways, and I just think it's silly to try to actually be mean to someone because they just express something in a way you don't like, regardless if it's them being positive or negative. I think negativity and positivity are very important in this community. And I actually do watch a lot of critical Sims 4 YouTubers. I consider myself kind of critical too. But I also watch a lot of positive ones as well. Like, I've watched Plumbella, I've watched Little Simsy, I've even watched Satch on Sims. I think they're all good, and like I said, I think all opinions should be valued, and I think we should really try to see into the perspective of these fans versus these critics, because I think if you really looked into it, you'd understand them. You'd understand where all of their viewpoints are coming from. And while I do approve of passion, and I love passion, I'm a very passionate person myself. I just think that people should not let their passion consume them, not let their passion turn them ugly. Like, when your passion becomes so big that you're letting the opinions of other people hurt you to the point where you feel the need to attack them, I just think that is when it's going too far, that you need to take a step back, But regardless of my feelings for the games, I am not going to turn this channel into a critical or positive channel for The Sims 4, because I feel like both of those are overdone. Like, there are plenty of Sims 4 players that just say everything that needs to be said about the positivities of The Sims. We got wholesome creators like Little Simsy and, like I said, Plumbella and all those other Simfluencers. So I don't think my presence is needed there. We also got people already saying everything critical about The Sims 4 and saying everything that needs to be said. Like, we already got Satch on Sims and Not Malcolm, for example. They have said pretty much, I feel like, mostly all that needs to be criticized regarding The Sims 4, so I just feel like my presence is not needed in either of those. Like, the reason why I started this channel in the first place is because I really love the console games. The console games were what introduced me to the series to begin with. Because as a kid, I didn't have a computer until I was 10 years old. So I discovered The Sims 2 on a demo disc back in 2005 when I was only 7 years old. So I played a lot of the console games growing up. They were very nostalgic to me. And they were like my first entry into the series. And I love to learn more about them because of my love for them, so I was looking at the cutting room floor and I was learning about all these prototypes, and it made me very interested in them. But when I looked them up on YouTube, there were no videos on them, and that just surprised me. Because I thought, how has no one else has played these prototypes before I showed them off? Like, the cutting room floor, I love what it does, but the information on it just wasn't enough for me. I had to really play them and see what they really look like. And plus, the cutting room floor, most of the information they got just sound like people just going through the debug cheats. Meanwhile, I wanted to really play the game like a normal game. Like, I wanted to play those builds like they were normal games. Like, not going through debug cheats or anything, like, just living my Sims lives. Just because I figured I'd discover more things that the cutting room floor does not mention. And I have. And then I thought, well, I should really document these for other people who might care like me, like other people want to see this stuff. So I started recording myself playing them and uploading the results of anything that I found, because I thought people might find it really interesting, like I do. And like, The Sims is a major franchise, yet the console spin-off games are a little bit more niche, especially since they're pretty old now. Like, the first Sims is like 2002, I think. So like, it's like, what, 23 years old now this first console game was made. So yeah, I thought that was a place where I was needed, you see, because I can give a lot of information that nobody knows about already. Like, I don't have to just play The Sims 4 and repeat the same stuff that you probably already know regarding The Sims 4, but I can give actual new information regarding the series. I've really enjoyed the stuff I'm making now, and I am glad that I have reached, like, I think over 60 subscribers since recording, well, not since, but while recording this, I've reached over 60 subscribers, and some of my videos have even made it over to 1,000 views, which that is really cool, because I was not actually expecting that attention. Mostly because, like I said, I thought these console games were kind of a niche topic anyways, but thank you all for that, and this kind of feels more like a rambly video, but I just really want to vent out my frustrations on how this community has been treating each other because of the really critical players of The Sims 4 and really loving the fans of The Sims 4. I feel like people are not treating each other right in the community because of these differing opinions, and I just wish, instead of them trying to shut each other's voices down, I wish they'd both understand each other. Like, understand why they're feeling this way about the game, why they're voicing these opinions, like, what's important to them. And I hope that the community, especially the one on Twitter is so nasty, but I hope they can come to an understanding, and instead of just saying, don't make these posts saying, they can say agree to disagree, or maybe just not even interactive to post at all. Like, you don't have to watch Lil Simsy. You don't have to watch Satch on Sims, You can just ignore it and just have fun with the game. Anyways, what do y'all think? Let me know in the comments section. Thank you for listening to me ramble.